UPMC Altoona Elite Orthopedics and the UPMC Sports Medicine Concussion Program are proud to support youth sports across our region and proud to sponsor the high school football preview show on Mirror TV on YouTube. To learn more about their board-certified orthopedic surgeons, their specialty trained concussion management experts, and the wide range of orthopedic conditions they treat, visit upmcaltoona.com/ortho. To schedule an appointment at one of their offices in Hollidaysburg, Evansburg, or Bedford, call 814-889-3600.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome to Mirror TV on YouTube, Week 7 of the High School Football Show. Once again, I'm joined by the all-everything guru of high school football here at the Mirror, Mike Boydham. My name's Scott Franco. Couple of things we want to talk about real quick before we get into our games. We want to thank Cambria Heights. Saturday night, I was covering the Cambria Heights-McCourt game. Got a Highlander Gator here, very nice looking, very Sean Connery looking like here on the Gator. So hopefully we still have several more weeks of shows.
And I'm going to get smiling again.
And I am smiling. I'm happy. You don't have to worry about the show going into black and white here. But anyways, we got a Gator, but we still like to get some more up here. So if you got them on yet, Mike, what game do you have this weekend?
I'm going to be at Bald Eagle area versus Bellwood.
We do not have a Bellwood one yet.
Don't?
No pressure, Nick.
And when I covered Bald Eagle area the first week, I did notice they had some nice games.
Yeah, well, we take one. We're not proud. Where are you at Saturday?
And then Saturday I have Penn Cambria and Tyrone.
We already got theirs. And I'm going to Hollidaysburg Friday. Well, we already have a Hollidaysburg one. So, but you can mail them to 301 Cayuga Avenue.
Exeter Township.
Yeah, I can see. With Exeter, they're called the Eagles. They're blue. They're Penn Cambria colors. They're blue and black. Anyways, you can mail it to 301 Cayuga Avenue, Altoona, PA 16601. But anyways, yeah, a real nice job by the Cambria Heights people. We're going to go right into the playoffs here because we got a lot to talk about. Mike, first thing you want to talk about, District 6, 2A quarterfinals, Central Cambria, Richland. What do you think?
Well, it's a week earlier than they were supposed to play. They were supposed to play last week and next week in the regular season. And it's just a pretty tough draw for Central Cambria.
Yeah.
Richland is a really good team.
And they're a 4 seed.
And they're a 4 seed because they lost to Bedford.
And
that's one of the things that's going to hurt with these early playoffs is a team has one loss, but the way other teams haven't had a chance to build up points yet. Some of the teams like maybe Southern Huntington wasn't as good as they are as a number 2 seed, but they only played 4 games, so they're still up there at number 2 seed, where Richland's probably a better team than them, but they get down there at the 4 seed, and Central Cambria is the unlucky recipient of that matchup. But, Central Cambria, we saw Hobbs Dill. He was able to run the ball well early in the year, and maybe they can keep the ball and hold Richland's offense off the field. That's their probably best chance.
Yeah, and then going into, Mike had mentioned Southern Huntington, another game, and I saw this guy. Cambria Heights has to be the best 7 seed. How they're just 3-3. They ran up and down all over Bishop McCourt. They're the 7 seed at Southern Huntington, number 2. I can see Cambria Heights win this game, and it wouldn't even be an upset to me, but what do you think about that?
Yes, I think Cambria Heights definitely the favorite, and despite being the 7th seed, they actually played in the playoffs at Southern Huntington a couple of years ago. I think it was 2017, and it was 48-7, so it's Cambria Heights. So, Heights plays a much tougher schedule. They're in the Laurel Highlands, and Heights actually has a decent shot to go play for a district title because after this, they'll play the winner of Marion Center, Northern Cambria, and they could win that game too. So keep your eyes on the Highlanders.
And those are teams that they'll know next year because they're moving into that conference, the Heritage Conference. Our next game, and this could be the ugly game of the week, Bishop McCourt, 12 seed. They're 1-5, playing at Bishop Guilfoyle, Mansion Park. That's Saturday at 7.
Well, I will say last year when BG went the whole way to the state championship, they opened the playoffs against McCourt and only won 14-7. So, it's a rivalry game. You never know what's going to happen. Plus, BG's had, been in and out of practice the past few weeks.
Never played into it.
McCourt has a chance here, I would say.
Yeah, I saw McCourt against Heights. McCourt at times, they didn't play very well, yet it was a one-possession game for a lot of that contest. But I still think Bishop Guilfoyle is going to McCourt people probably get mad if they're watching, but I don't see BG losing this game. Our other game we want to talk about real quick, Williamsburg's new home away from home. They're at Tiger Stadium again. They're hosting Blairsville. Williamsburg's the number 7 seed. Blairsville's the number 10 seed. That is Friday at 7. What do we know about Blairsville? You can tell the Williamsburg people.
Well, they just got into the playoffs. They made a late season run, won a couple games. But how great is it to see Williamsburg in the playoffs?
How about it? Yeah.
After 2 0-10 seasons, they are 3-3. They deserve to be here.
Yeah.
They have a talented team. And there's no reason they can't win this game, and there's no reason they can't be a threat in the District 6 playoff.
Yeah, and I know just from somebody who used to cover Williamsburg a lot, I used to feel bad for them, some of their games. Now you feel happy for them. Maybe you go to their games and you're like, wow, they have a real shot at winning this. So that'll be Friday night. And now this is a segment of the show where we're going to have our special guest come in, our first ever special guest. Write it down, kiddies, because we'll have a trivia question someday. You'll be able to tell us who that is. So let's bring on our special guest. Okay, we are joined by Jason Wilson, who's the defense coordinator at Philipsburg Osceola. You also would know him. He was a standout player at Tyrone Area High School, coached at Tyrone Area High School. Mike's going to hit him with some questions. But before we talk about the playoff games, because Jason has some input into that, they also have a game with Bellefonte on Friday night.
Yeah,
Friday night.
I know Caleb Stams had a pretty good season for you guys. Obviously, going against Big Line and Bellefonte, what kind of challenge is that going to be for you guys this week?
I definitely think it's going to be a challenge because they are going to be the biggest line that we've faced all season. But Caleb's a hard runner, and Coach Broman's been putting things together, and we've made a lot of progress since last season, the past few seasons. But we still have a long ways to go. And, I think we'll see if we can compete Friday night.
Yeah, it was great to see you guys get a win against Huntington earlier this year. First Mountain League win in quite a while.
Yes, it was.
Do we want to go to the State College Altoona game next?
Yeah, sure. We'll talk
We'll go to
about
State
that
College real quick. That's another goofy pandemic game. State College is 2-1. They just played Monday night against Carlisle.
Yeah.
They had to play that game so that they could qualify for this Friday night game. They're playing at Altoona Mansion Park for the District 6 6A championship. I took Altoona because I've heard State College isn't as powerful as what they've been in the past, and Altoona's playing with a lot more confidence. What do you think of this?
Well, State College has only had 3 games, and they're breaking in a new quarterback. Dresden Green's only played in 1 of those games. He's a star. As somebody who's coached in football currently and played, how would you prepare for a game when you had to play on a Monday and then have a game on Friday? How tough would that be to prepare for a game like that?
That would definitely be tough. I mean, because usually you're getting a couple days off, and then you have the Monday that's a walkthrough, so you eliminate all of that. I'm sure they probably took a little bit of a break, a relaxed break, maybe on Monday with a walkthrough, but to only have really a 4-day turnaround is going to be tough for them to turn that around that quick.
And Altoona is obviously much improved. They lost this game 48-0 last year. They had just lost to Central Dauphin last year, 62-0, and they were only down a score at halftime this past week against them. So Altoona's made a lot of progress, and just the fact that you picked Altoona and
Frank
Sports Center also picked Altoona. Last year, there was nobody picking Altoona against State College. So, Coach Niedermeyer's made a lot of progress, and it's going to be an interesting game on Friday.
And as a coach, I would think, Jason, you'd have to agree, if you can get them to not be afraid. I don't think Altoona's afraid of State College. And I think that's half the battle that they go in. I know last year my one son's going to be mad at me for saying this, but they went up to Erie McDowell, and Erie McDowell was everything. And my one son sat there and said, I don't know how we're going to beat this team. And I'm thinking, oh my God, let's hope the rest of the team isn't thinking that.
Right.
But let's get into some of the stuff here that we really want to take advantage of having Jason here. The Class 3A semifinals in District 6. Our first one is Westmont Hilltop versus Central. Is that the one? Are you going to that one?
Neil's actually
Neil Riddell's going to that. And our other one is Penn Cambria at Tyrone on Saturday, which I know you are going to. Go ahead, you want to hit him with the Westmont Central.
The interesting thing was Jason has obviously coached at Philipsburg against Central, Tyrone, and Bald Eagle area this year. So he's had the game plan for all 3 of these teams, and maybe we'll get a little bit of perspective on what it's like to face these teams from somebody who actually has. So Westmont runs the ball constantly. They've only attempted 13 passes the whole season. Central, on the other hand, will throw the ball all day, and Jeff Hohenstein has way more passing yards than anyone else in our area. What was that like, that challenge having to face Jeff Hohenstein when you were preparing for that defensively?
Well, the big thing is he's really elusive at quarterback. I mean, he makes a lot of plays, and he doesn't take his eyes off downfield. And he's hitting those receivers. They have a nice group of receivers that they can really choose from. And, he's throwing downfield, finding those open receivers, just really elusive to tackle. He's hard to tackle.
Yeah, and also just real quick, too, I mean, you can't pick just one receiver to like that well because they have Biesinger, they have the Boyles kid, Hunter Klotz.
Yep.
And I just think, oh my God, he's got so many weapons. And they can throw to Parker Gregg out of the bag. It's like you have to pick your poison.
Right, exactly. And they have just so many weapons to choose at that receiver corps.
And then the other semifinals, Penn Cambria, Tyrone, and obviously you have a connection with Tyrone, coached them 2 years ago, just played against them last week, 35-27, went right down to the wire. Just talk a little bit about what Tyrone brings to the table and what Penn Cambria is going to have to do to be able to slow them down a little bit.
Well, Tyrone's a three-headed monster with Damon Grip, Brandon Lucas, and Tommy Hicks. Their offense, can score quick and score, can score in a hurry at any point because they have the big plays, they have the big playmakers to do that. I think they really match up well against Penn Cambria on defense, though, because they got there's some players, Grip in the backfield who's just a ball hawk. And with Penn Cambria running the spread offense, I think that plays right into that. Also with the linebackers, they're just aggressive. Tommy Hicks played as defensive back for me as a freshman, and now he's a little bigger and stronger, so he's playing linebacker for them. They just have all those skill guys across there, and they have probably one of the fastest defensive ends in Matt Clifton coming off the edge, put a lot of pressure on a quarterback who's sitting back in the pocket. So, I think their defense plays really well into a spread offense. And, their offense can just score in a hurry at any point. And we saw that they're gamers. They came back in Bald Eagle game and they came back in the Penns Valley game and scored late. And I think that's a factor to senior leadership. They got a lot of good leaders on that team. And, they're competitors. They can compete in a lot of sports. And, they're winners. And winners find ways to win. And that's exactly what that Tyrone team does. And I think that presents just a problem itself to Penn Cambria.
And if we were talking before we went on taping the show here, if Grip can't play back there, because I know last year when they played Hollidaysburg, the halftime score was 14-13 Hollidaysburg, and Grip was tough. I mean, he was a junior last year. He plays over the middle, right? He's a safety.
No, he's a corner.
He's a corner. If he doesn't play, that's got to make Penn Cambria excited too. That's one less guy they have to worry about, I got to think.
Although your brother did seem to think that he would be pretty much healthy, so we'll see. But also, Bedford last week got a lot of pressure on Garrett Harold, and like he said, if Clifton is able to get a lot of pressure, that's going to really make it tough on Harold to be able to complete those long passes that Penn Cambria lives and dies by.
And our other playoff game we want to look at is Class 2A quarterfinals. Bald Eagle area is the 8th seed at Bellwood Annis, the number 1 seed. Last year, this was the Cambria Heights at Bellwood Annis game. Cambria Heights was in that. I had a guy, I won't say his name, he's from the Cove, but he sat there and sent me an email saying, he goes, nobody wanted to take a chance on Bald Eagle at Bellwood. I thought about it because Bald Eagle plays bigger competition, but I just think Bellwood's tough.
Well, Bald Eagle area is actually the defending 3A district champion. They've moved down to 2A. They did lose some players, though, from last year's team. What's Bald Eagle like now without Jaden Jones?
Yeah, exactly. They did lose a lot of their good players from last year, but they are still quick, especially on defense. And I think defense is what leads that team right now. They're very fast to get to the ball. They're tough up front, the front 7 in the box. So I think that'll probably be a big key to the game is whether or not Bellwood can establish a run game against that front 7 against Bald Eagle, who are just quick off the ball and aggressive and find the ball.
Yeah, and obviously you guys like to run the ball. And Bald Eagle how did Bald Eagle do when you guys were trying to do that to them?
Exactly like I said, they got to it. So they filled the holes and they were quick to it, and we had a lot of trouble trying to establish any type of run game.
So maybe this is a game where Zach Pellegrini needs to, step up and make a few big passes for Bellwood, which is something they've tried to work on throughout the season.
They're so good at running the ball, sometimes they feel like, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do that. But I'm being told by our director up here that we're running out of minutes here. So we want to thank Jason for showing up for our first ever show. And we have an anniversary show someday. We'll have to bring Jason back and we'll look back in this maybe like I don't know how long Mike and I will be here. We don't know.
Hopefully, I'm just breaking the ice for more.
Yeah, now next week we're going to pick all these coaches will start coming up and going, hey, we want to be on your show. Okay, talk to our agent. Real quick, we want to do the favorite segment that Mike rolls his eyes, and we call it Mike rolls his eyes while Scott does his cool name segment.
I wanna know what's the name of the game.
Our cool name segment is this week we went into Blair County because nobody emailed me any. Was quite disappointed I had been given names up until this week. So this week, Altoona has a kid, and again, he's a running back. And I say all the running backs, skill position players have the cool names. Caden Clock. 2 Ks, Caden Clock. And then already, because of my Italian heritage, my favorite name right now, the front runner to definitely make our All-Star team. Bishop Guilfoyle has a 10th grade lineman named Sante Bambacci. And I was told right before we went on the air, his dad's name's Tony. Tony Bambacci. So my mother should have named one of her sons like Sante and not John and Tom and Scott and Steve. It's Sante Bambacci, Bishop Guilfoyle, added to our cool names list. And that will do it for this week. Don't forget, we would love to have another gator or a mask sent to Mike and I or given to us at one of the games you'll see us at. And again, we want to thank Jason Wilson, Philipsburg Osceola defense coordinator, for being here. My name is Scott Franco. That's Mike Boynham. Thanks for watching this week.